I mean, pretty much everything they've all said is true. I mean, when you're first making films, and especially if you don't have name actors, you got to talk to your friends and family. And it's always easier to get money in. It's always easier to get money in once you have some already. So, but as he said, as far as the years in the past, it has been getting a lot better as far as independent film finance. And to what she was saying is you really do need to know what your film is going. You need to be thinking about marketing and sales right from the beginning, because that's how you're going to get your money, and then again, sell it and do it again. So.
I like that bedroom tone. But you got to bounce it way out there. Okay, I'm going to ask the filmmakers here on the right, Mira and Maureen, what your sort of fundraising history was, what your case studies were.
My first film, Farrah Goes Bang, was a micro-budget film that we raised all the money on Kickstarter, and that was in 2012, pre-Seed and Spark. So we were just debating between using Kickstarter and Indiegogo, which I was just talking to somebody about. We went with Kickstarter. And my second film, Equity, is called Equity, and it's a female-driven Wall Street movie, and the producers for that film, it was all private investments, and the producers, prior to me going on to the film, basically just wrote cold letters to high-profile women on Wall Street and advocated for the desire to see a female perspective in that genre of film, because we've had so many Wall Street movies, but we've never really seen women at the center of them. And the women on Wall Street that they talked to really responded to the idea and happened to have a lot of money. And so from them, I have learned that it is useful to tell stories about people with a lot of money.
My first one was I just sold it to a small production company, and so they had all the equity. And then some of my other projects are just kind of been through family and my own just like saving and stuff like that. So really indie.
So Erica, I want to ask you right off the bat, a lot of people, I hear a lot of filmmakers say, crowdfunding's all played out, but I think that's just because they're not good at it. But, I know as a person who runs a filmmaking community, I get, a zillion crowdfunding campaigns come my way a day, and I can't respond to all of them. So it is a crowded space. And so what's the viability of crowdfunding these days, and how does one make it a successful campaign?
And this lovely lady can answer lots of questions on crowdfunding too. That's a question I get asked a lot, sort of this crowdfunding fatigue. So have we all seen enough of these campaigns? We get asked for things all the time. And I think that crowdfunding should and will hopefully always have a place in our financing plans, because it's a way that you can go directly to the people who want to see your movie and get funds from them. But it does have to be used strategically, and you can't keep going back to the same group of people over and over again. But I will contribute to a friend's campaign every year if she runs one, because I enjoy watching the movie and I like the things that she's making and I want to be a part of that, but not if she's coming every month for something. So you have to be really careful about when you're asking for things and how you're asking for them. So crowdfunding is a disaster if you're begging. Crowdfunding is really exciting if you're asking somebody to go on the journey with you, and if you're continuing to grow the pool of people who you're tapping into, so that people really feel like, oh, we're a part of something. We got in early, the momentum. So there is a lot of psychology in terms of crowdfunding. But I think another piece of it is the strategy is not raising all of your budget from one particular place, whether that's crowdfunding or grants or equity, but really diversifying where you're getting your funding from. Because just like we've heard a couple of times that if you raise 10 grand in a crowdfunding campaign, it's easier to go to an investor and say, I have 500 people who are interested in watching this movie, and vice versa. If you say, when you're running a crowdfunding campaign, we have a couple of investors, but we're actively interested in raising money from the people who want to see this movie. It's a very powerful position you're in, rather than sort of begging from a lot of different people and hoping that someone will sort of save you from yourself. I think really inspiring confidence is really important with crowdfunding. So I definitely think it's still a very viable option and will continue to be so if we really respect the relationship with our crowd and with our audience. But you do have to be really conscious that you're continuing to grow that group of people and you're staying in contact with them. So something that I think you did so fabulously with your crowdfunding supporters is that Mira continued to be in contact with them. So then when she went to distribute her film online, those people really showed up in droves to buy it on iTunes, to watch it in places, but because she'd respected that relationship.